Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays. We're very glad you're with us today. It is March 22nd, 2022. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just put your questions into the chat window. For those watching on Facebook right now, thank you for being with us. If you have any questions, just put your questions into the comment field. I am monitoring that feed and we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window do not appear in the recording. And you're more than welcome if you'd like to network with each other, put your information in there so you can network with the other people who are on the call today. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I started a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007, and I'll tell you about our upcoming program. We have a great speaker coming up this Friday. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. Remember, practicing your interviewing skills is very, very important. Your resume and your LinkedIn profile is not going to get you a job. It only gets you a phone call. Depending on how well you practice your interviewing skills, that's what's going to get you your next great opportunity. Well, we have 4 speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis. Today, this month, being that there's 5 Tuesdays, I've given all 4 of them off. And I'm going to do the presentation about LinkedIn, how to present yourself like a pro. Let me switch presentations here. So this is a presentation, LinkedIn, present yourself like a pro. So there's a couple of things we want to do first. Before we get started, I want to talk about the 3 different types of recruiters out there. The first type of recruiter is an in-house recruiter. The second type is an outside contingency recruiting firm or recruiter. And the third would be an outside retained search consultant. So let's talk about all 3 of them, because all 3 of them are going to use LinkedIn a little bit differently, and how you approach them is going to be a little bit different. So an in-house recruiter is working for a company. They work at a company. They could be handling 30 to 40 different job recs at a time. That's a lot of things for them to do. So they're juggling a lot of balls at once. So they have a very short attention span because they're focused on whichever job, whoever hiring manager is complaining the most. They're going to be very, very busy. Most of them will probably rely on an applicant tracking system, an ATS system. So if you're not applying if you're not maximizing your resume with an ATS system, you probably want to join us Thursday for our resume session, where we'll talk about how to maximize your resume for our ATS system. And number 2, the outside contingency recruiting firm. There could be 3 to 5 firms working on the same job. So a company goes, we're too busy. Our in-house recruiter is too busy. We need to go to find somebody to fill this particular role. So they go out and they may contact 2, 3, or 4 different recruiting firms going, send us the candidates you have. As applications come in, they get time stamped. So the first one that comes in, if you have the same candidate coming in from multiple different recruiting firms, the first one that gets stamped is the one that they're going to be dealing with. Only the firm that makes the placement gets paid. So they have 3 or 4 or 5 different firms that are looking for a job. Only the firm who places a person is going to get paid on that job. So there's a lot more outside there's a lot of outside contingency recruiting firms that are out there. They also tend to be sort of all over the place there because they could be dealing with, they're just saying, how fast can I get somebody in, get a qualified candidate, and make this connection work? There's some really good questions that you need to ask an outside contingency recruiting firm. How many puts have you had with this company? How well do you know the company? Is there anybody else in your firm working on this particular role? So there's just some questions, and there's more of those on the Career USA website. You can search more about recruiters and find out more about that kind of firm. And then an outside retained search consultant was where a company goes and hires one person, like Kurt Vondermatter, who's our speaker next week. Companies go and hire him to go find a role. He gets paid an upfront commission or an upfront fee, and then he will get paid the balance upon placing a successful candidate. These people usually have an excellent relationship with the employer, because this is just a one-on-one thing. They're going and they're hiring Kurt because they know that Kurt has filled jobs in the past, or they've dealt with him in the past, and they know that he's going to provide a great service and find the right candidate for them. He'll weed out all the bad ones and just present the 2 or 3 that are really good, and he'll coach them on what's going on. So just be aware of the 3 different types of recruiters that are out there. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about LinkedIn today is what you see above the waterline. It's only about 20%. We could talk for days and days and days about all the details of LinkedIn. So just know that I'm just going to cover some of the highlights here. And if you want to get into more details, we can talk offline or something. All right, so LinkedIn growth. LinkedIn has been growing like crazy. Currently, they have over 800 million people online. You can just see phenomenal growth in the last 10, 12, 13 years of how things are going, and it's continuing to grow on a daily basis. If you look around the country, you see that there's 180 million people on LinkedIn just in the United States. That's half the population. Now, most of those 180 million do not have a completed profile. They maybe have their name, a company name, and a city, and that's about it. They don't really tell you what it is they do or anything. So it's really until a job seeker gets out there, they really realize that they really got to make their profile really expand out what's there. So what you want to do is a goal that you've got to have is you've got to set up a welcoming LinkedIn profile for recruiters that's easy to read, that's got a good picture of yourself, a nice background. We talk about the background banner. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And just maybe a smattering of a little bit of personal information. Maybe if you've run marathons or you've run Ironmans, you may want to just fill that in as just a little side thing, just to give somebody a little personal note about maybe who you are. You've got to make sure that you optimize your profile so the LinkedIn search engine can find you. Very, very important. We're going to talk about keywords, optimizing things. And, to me, the whole LinkedIn, if you want to be found on LinkedIn, is you've got to have the correct keywords that people are looking for. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So LinkedIn calculates your score on a daily basis. All right, it's based on content and on activity. So if you don't have a filled out profile, if you're not an all-star on LinkedIn, there's a good chance that when somebody searches for your particular job title, you're not going to come up at the very, very top. You cannot see your score. LinkedIn does not divulge how they do that. And so you're not going to have, we just assume by we've figured out by completing your profile and putting in lots of keywords, that's what gets you moved up in your job search. So what's the search engine looking for? They're looking for mutual interest between the recruiter and the candidate. Okay, so a couple of the things that a recruiter has, and you'll see next week if you tune in with Kurt Vondermatter for his LinkedIn presentation, he pays LinkedIn $10,000 a year for the full-blown recruiting package. And one of the things that he will flip on, so there's 800 million people who he can go look at. The first thing he tends to click on is people who are more likely to respond. That takes it down to less than 80 million. So less than 10% of the people are more likely to respond, meaning they're using LinkedIn on a regular basis. The second thing that a recruiter is going to look for, especially if it's an in-house recruiter, Or are you connected to employees that currently work at our company? Because maybe they'll go and reach out and say, well, I see John, they'll call Mary and say, Mary, I see you're connected to John Smith on LinkedIn. He's applied for a job here. How well do you know him? So, that's one of the ways it'll be worthwhile if you're connected with people in the company. Number 3 is, do you follow companies on LinkedIn? Okay, so one of the other options a recruiter has is across the very top, you'll say the number of matches. And so he goes and they do a search, they put a job title in, they put a few keywords. What will then happen is up will come 200 candidates. Well, one of the little boxes across the top that a recruiter has, and if it's an in-house recruiter, it'll say, of the 200 candidates that came up in the search, 63 of them actually follow us, follow our company on LinkedIn. Well, maybe I'll look at them first because they've already been following us. Maybe they may know about who we are. And then the other thing is, are you open to work? That's one of the things that Kurt will always click on. He always does likely to respond and open to work because he's looking for people at first, the easy fill. Now, if he can't find who he's looking for, somebody who says they're open to work, he then takes that off, and that makes it tougher trying to convince somebody to switch jobs. The other thing that the search engine is looking for is relevance to the job being searched. Do your job titles match? Do you have the key skills? And maybe have you passed a skills assessment test? We'll talk more about that in just a moment. So on LinkedIn, you want to be an all-star. How do you become an all-star? You have to have a current position. You have to have a location. You have to have an industry. You have to have a summary statement, which is the about statement. You need to have at least 5 skills. We recommend between 40, 45 skills probably. You need to list an education, and you've got to have a decent headshot. Well, Jeff, I'm currently unemployed. I don't have a current position. Here's what you can do. Let me show you another profile here. So this is John Ernet's profile. Okay, John is currently looking for work. So he's got his little banner up there that says he's open to work, making it easy for everybody. But as we come down here to his work experience, his current job is he's an operation leader, COO, VP manufacturing, VP ops, lean sensei, VP supply chain. And for the name of his company, he put down johnernet@gmail.com and put his phone number there. And then he's got dates. He's been unemployed since June of 2021 to present, okay? He put on open to new opportunities. And for one of the bullets he put down is operation leader, delivering profitability by developing people, processes, and creating a positive culture. So he's given somebody to say that he's currently looking for a job. This has him as a current job. When he becomes employed, he'll just take this off of his profile until next time he's looking. So this gets you that current position that you're looking for. All right, so that's what you need to be an all-star. We'll talk a little bit about this. So first thing is we need to maximize job titles, okay? You want to make sure that the job titles you use underneath your name are the titles that LinkedIn has standardized. So if you go to the open to work section and you start typing in, you can pick 5 job titles. You want to make sure that, pick those 5 in the open to work section, but then make sure that whatever you put underneath your name is a job title that somebody would search for. All right. You can have multiple job titles. Okay. You can have 3 or 4 job titles. You could add open to work if you wanted to, but the open to work is you want to have that open to work banner. And if you have any additional job titles, you want to add those to the experience section. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. So here's my profile. Here's my first page. When you get to it and you see, I say, I'm an accomplished manufacturing manager, operation manager, general manager. So I've picked 3 job titles. I started it out with an action verb because an action verb sort of draws somebody into the profile. Then I've got a saying, better, faster, smarter. If you've got some kind of little saying that you use about your job title, you can add that there. And then I add speaker at career workshops and seminars, because that is sort of what I do, okay? So your branding headline matters. It's very, very important. That's probably the most searchable thing that gets you the most points on LinkedIn. So you want, if you were, let's say you had a job title like chief people person. Well, most companies don't have a chief people person, but they're going to have a director of human resources or a director of talent acquisition. So those are the keywords that you want to put the job title in there that's going to be generic, that anybody's going to be able to find you with. All right, so here's a great little headline title generator. You may want to take a picture of this slide if you want, just so you have an idea of what to do here. So you're going to want to start out with an adjective: accomplished, award-winning, certified, engaging, experienced, tenacious, transformative, dynamic, skilled, whatever it is. And then you want to add a couple job titles, okay? And this should be job titles that you'll find on the job from LinkedIn, okay? So you don't want to use something like product management, because that's not a job title. The job title is product manager. So make sure you have it in the right tense, so the right noun verbiage, to make sure that people will find you. And then you can add, what kind of value do you bring? Specializing in, focused on. Project manager is a very generic thing. So you're a project manager specializing in audio notes or whatever it is. Put something special on there. So as you see in the example in the last box, dynamic program manager driving brand awareness through integrated marketing. So that gives you an idea what kind of product manager he is, or program manager he is, okay? Gives you a lot better detail. All right, so it's really, really important that you maximize your skills, okay? You want your keywords pertaining in your about and your experience section to be keywords that you'll find. So what are the keywords that you're doing? What is it that, are out there? So one of the things I recommend is go out, type in product manager, program manager, whatever title it is you are, type it into LinkedIn, see who comes up at the top, and look at those first 5 or 10 profiles and go, oh, I've done that. Oh, that's a good word. Oh, I need to add that word to my profile, and add those words of things that you've done, because keywords, as I say, keywords matter. This is all about search engine optimization. How is it to get enough keywords so people will find you? Some of the skills that you're going to want to do, these are, this is from 2020, the skills companies needed most in 2020. The top 5 soft skills: creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. The top 10 hard skills: blockchain, cloud computing, analytical reasoning, artificial intelligence, UX design. So go Google top skills companies are looking for today in your field, and make sure those names, make sure those things are in your LinkedIn profile. I can't tell you how important. Once again, it's keywords. It's all about keywords being found. All right, in the skills and endorsement section, the maximum number of skills that is allowed is 50. You have to have at least 5 to be an all-star. I recommend somewhere between 40, 45. Sometimes you want to leave a couple blank ones, because somebody may go and recommend you for one that maybe you never thought about. And you want to make sure that at least, the first 3 skills is what will show up on your profile, unless they hit see more, and then it takes you to so they can see the rest of them. Make sure that your skills are both technical and managerial. If you're a mid or upper level manager, director, a CEO, a C-suite person, you want to have more managerial skills that are in there, okay? I would recommend you alphabetize them to make it easy for somebody to look down a list. You'll find that if you look at a list, it'll be much easier to read if it's alphabetized. And LinkedIn categories. LinkedIn will categorize the skills into certain sections, and it can't be moved. I know LinkedIn in the last couple of weeks has changed this section, so it may look a little different. It may feel a little bit differently. Just be aware. LinkedIn is constantly changing what's going on. So that's why I don't show a lot of LinkedIn slides or LinkedIn screen captures, because what was accurate yesterday may not be accurate today, and may not be accurate tomorrow when you go look at something. All right, the skill assessment, we've talked about this. LinkedIn skill quiz is a feature that allows you to take an assessment on your proficiency. They're in all sorts of categories, technical, business, and design, and others. And results have shown, it's been out for about a year now, that people who pass a LinkedIn skill assessment are more likely to get hired, especially get hired through LinkedIn. So just know that if there is a skills test or something that you can take for your particular something you've done, and go check it out and take a look. Generally, they're 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. They're timed, and they've got to be completed in one session. You can't start and stop. You've got to score at least 70% or above to be awarded the badge. And all the badge is a little clipboard, like you see in that little picture in the lower right-hand corner. It just shows that you've passed that little assessment by the little clipboard. Supposedly, and we haven't, suppose when they started this out, they said the badges would only be for 12 months and would expire. But I've not heard of anybody's test expiring yet. And like I said, it's been out now for like 14, 15 months. So I'm not sure if they've changed that rule or not. And if you don't pass the first time, you are able to retake the assessment one more time after a 3-month period. And then it's not available, I think, for 12 months. So just be aware of that. All right, so let's talk about headshots. Well, here's some good headshots, and here's some not so good headshots. The one across the top, let's start over here in the upper right-hand corner. This one right here, it's not a good clean shot. I mean, it's a nice smile. He's got a good look on his face. I'm not a fan of pictures coming up, looking up from your, to look up from your chin, looking up. And it's very fuzzy. It's very, because it's backlit, it's not lit very well. The second one here, that's a nice casual photo that belongs on Facebook. The background is way too busy. This third photo over here, we want to see your face. We really don't care. We're not looking at the rest of your body. We want to see you from chest up, so we have an idea of who you are. This next picture over here in the upper right-hand corner, that's Gail. Gail him, Gail her. How do you know? Okay, so, we want a picture of you, not you and your significant other. It happened to be Gail her. I think she posted this picture because her husband at the time was over in Afghanistan serving, but that's why she put it up. She's no longer does that anymore, but it's one of those pictures when you find it, you go, oh, I'm going to use that in every presentation I ever give. This open to work photo down here, too far away. It's great to put the banner on there, but it's too far away. If you're going to do something, do it so it's closer. And the other two pictures from the bottom, black and white picture is fine. And this one over here is fine in color because it's close. It's a professional looking shot, plain background. You just want to make it easy for somebody to look at you. And know this, that if I'm going to interview you if we're going to have a Zoom interview or something, or if you're going to come in for a personal interview, you better look like the picture you have on your profile. So if you've got a picture there from 5 or 10 or 15 years ago, and your hairstyle is different, you have different glasses on, you've aged, you've got more gray hair than you used to, you have a beard now, you didn't used to have a beard, get a new picture to make it current, because I'm going to go, well, wait a second, what else are you hiding if you're not showing the most current up-to-date thing right now? So the only other suggestion I would have for everybody is for these bottom pictures where you see this bottom right and bottom left picture, I would flip it around, because think about it, when you looked at a LinkedIn profile, your picture is in the upper left-hand corner. And do you want to be looking away off the screen, or do you want to be looking into your profile? So, you can easily flip pictures over. I would flip those over so that they're looking into the profile, not away from the profile. Yeah. Okay, next slide. All right, so if you're going to network, one of the greatest tools you can use is your college profession. I mean, things you've done in your college. there are plenty of great connections you can get out there. So you should follow your college. So your college should automatically pop up if you put it in your education, put it in there. But if your kids are going to a school, put their university in it and click on follow so that you do that. But what you want to then do is you want to click on alumni, okay? Because when you click on alumni, you'll see that the University of Houston happens to have 230,509 alumni since 1900 to 2021 when I took this particular screenshot, okay? So what you may want to do is you have a couple things. You can either, number one, look at where do they live, and you can find that there's 10,000 University of Houston alumni in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Or you can check here, where did they work at? And you can go down and say, oh, I'd like to have a job at Shell. Well, click on that, and then you can have possibly, this is a great way to connect with people who worked at Shell. Oh, I see your alumni at Shell, and I see your alumni at University of Houston. You currently work at Shell. I'm also alumni at Houston, University of Houston. I'd love to connect and be able to chat with you for a few minutes. There's also a show, the next button up here. If you click on next, you can find out what they do. So you can find out that there's 34,000 in business development. Here's 18,000 people in engineering. So if you're an engineer, you can click there and say, oh, we're in the same field. You can find out what that is. So that's a way, just a great way to be able to connect with people who are an alumni. And then if you click one more time on the next button, you'll come up with how you're connected. So I have of the 230,509 alumni, I have 37 first-degree connections that work at the university, that have graduated from the University of Houston. And if you scroll down, what'll happen, whoops, you don't get to see it here, but if you were to scroll down, you would see those pictures of people who would pop up, people you may want to go and connect with. All right, with connections, you want to have over 500 connections. And the reason you want to have 501 connection is because that way you have then the generic on your profile, it says 500 plus connections, okay? They used to say how many connections you had. You have 5,000, 10,000. They did away with that because it became a race with people trying to say, how many connections? I've got more connections than you have. And so they just said, once you hit 500, that's all we care about. That's all we're going to do. Your people should be in a similar industry or job function, okay? Because you want to connect with other people who do the kinds of things you do, all right? It would be helpful to add recruiters who happen to work in those target companies. And you can go and you can put in, you can go look at a company just like we looked at a university. You can put in a university, you can put in recruiter at those companies and you can see what recruiters pop up and you reach out to those people. And then you want to add people with job titles that could denote a hiring manager status at those target companies. So if you're looking to hire, if you're looking for something in operations, you may want to find a director of operations to try to connect with that person so that you've got a little bit of an insight into a company. So try to target, just don't willy-nilly go connect. That's not a good thing to do. Try to go connect with people that make sense, that would be beneficial to you. So there's a couple settings that you need to adjust on LinkedIn. Under privacy, you want to turn off viewers of this profile also viewed. I'm sure many of you have seen over on the right-hand side of people's profile, people also viewed. Well, these are 10 other people who do the exact same thing you do. Why do you want to promote somebody else? So turn that off. Recruiters love this because they can go, oh, I see David does this. Oh, let's see what else. Oh, look at these other people who do just what David does. I'm going to find somebody else. So just be, you're promoting you, not everybody else. The second thing you want to make sure you turn off is share job changes, education changes, and work anniversaries from profile. Turn that off when you're making all these changes. Because if you don't, every time you make a change and hit save, all your first-degree connections are going to find out that you've made a change, that you've done something. I showed you that one from John Arnett, who posted about he created a new job. He was one of our LinkedIn, he came to one of these LinkedIn seminars, and he saw, so he created a job that he's unemployed with. Well, he didn't turn this off, so he went and posted it, and he had a couple hundred of his connections went and said, oh, congratulations on your new job. Well, he wasn't a new job. Now, it probably wasn't a bad thing to do, because he said, quite frankly, he had several people reach out to him going, oh, I didn't know you were looking for something right now. So it's sort of, just sort of be aware of, if you let people know when you make a change, that all your first degree connections are going to know about it. Is it something you really want to let everybody know about? All right, you've got to optimize your contact information section. This is truly amazing to me. You're on LinkedIn, you're open to work, and you don't put any contact information in there. How am I supposed to reach out to you? When we look at Kurt Vondermatter, when Kurt does his presentation next week, and he'll actually do a job search, and we'll look for candidates, and he'll call some up, and these will all be people who have marked that they're open to work, but they have no email address, they have no phone number, and a recruiter wants to be able to pick up the phone and call you. It's the first thing they want to do. They do not want to have to send a LinkedIn email. That's the last thing they want to do. So phone number is most important. Email is the second most important. Twitter feeds and stuff like that are not important. I don't care about your address. I really don't care about your birthday. I'm not going to send you a birthday wish. That's not what this is for. If we're connected on Facebook, I'll send you a birthday wish. So phone number, email address. If you don't want to put your phone number in there, get a Google Voice number. Google Voice numbers are free. That way the number goes, they call the Google Voice number, Google Voice sends it to your phone, and that way you're not giving out your personal cell phone. You'll see here that I've made it so easy that on my background banner, I've put my email address and my phone number. So somebody doesn't have to even open up contact information. Somebody doesn't have to see the about section to know from me. So I've made it real simple for people to be able to reach out to me. Please don't use, if you've got that generic background that LinkedIn gives you, come up with something, put something in there. There's a great program, it's free, called Canva, canva.com. You may want to jot this down. This is a great way to create a banner, and just type in LinkedIn banner, and it has two options. I think you want the first, I think you want the second one. And when you take this second banner, then you can call in a background photo, you can add text, whatever it is you want to do to make your background, to make that banner stand out and say who it is, who you are. All right, in your about section, you want to be sure to tell people who you are, what you do, and how you can help. This is the biggest section in LinkedIn, where you have up to 2,600 characters. You want to write it in first person, okay? You want to keep the paragraphs to no more than 3 lines. So sometimes 4, but I like no more than 3. You can see mine are 2 lines, 3 lines, 2 lines, 2 lines. Because people scan text. They're not going to read a big clump of text like at the very bottom. Nobody's going to read those keywords at the bottom, but they're there because the keyword search hopefully will find those keywords. So as you can see here, so my name is Jeff, I'm an operation manager, whatever. Now I've listed here my strength finders, but I don't just list my strengths. I actually go up here and put it into a sentence. So the first one is strategic. I offer an experience as a strategic leader by quickly spotting patterns. Maximizer, I maximize by transforming. So I'm explaining, I'm analytical, I'm responsible, I'm explaining what it is I'm doing. So you can use your strength finder strengths to explain to somebody how it is that you can help a company out. Then you want to have a call to action. Let's get connected. I put my email address and my phone number again there. I put a hashtag O&O, open to new opportunities, because that's another way that people can do it. And then, like I said, at the bottom, I have all these different keywords that hopefully people will find if they're trying to search for me. Okay, take a drink of water here. Always send a personal note whenever you connect with anybody. I get connection requests like this every day, 2 or 3 a day, sometimes 4 a day. And when I get the generic connection and I don't know why we should connect, I just delete the email because I'm not going to connect with somebody. You need to tell somebody why you want to connect. You're welcome to connect with me. Tell me you saw me here today at this presentation. Even on a cell phone, you can send a personal note. It's either the more button. This is a screenshot off an iPhone of a couple of years ago, or you click on that more. Now I think it's a little hamburger, the little 3 little hashes. You click on that, it'll open up and say personal invite. If I own LinkedIn, besides being very rich, I would require that you have to send a personal note and not have the generic, I'd like to connect with you, okay? Always send somebody a personal note. So a lot of times you're going to see people's profiles, like if you did an alumni search or you looked at a company's search and you had connections. So here are 2 second-degree connections I have. The one on the left is the generic one with the white connect button. Never connect. If you click on that white connect button, it sends a generic invitation. So what you need to do is you need to click on the photo, and then up on the right-hand side, that's a screenshot from her photo or from her profile, and then a blue connect button pops up. A blue connect button will always allow you to send a personal note. All right, every day you need to spend, you only really need to spend 10 to 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn, okay? Because what do you want to do? The first thing you want to do on LinkedIn is you want to clear the red. You want to click on the home page, make that little red dot go away. You want to click on my network. You want to go, okay, I have 4 people who've sent me requests to connect. Do I want to connect with any of those people? Yes or no? I have 8 messages. So, who sent me a message? I had 2 messages this morning. I responded to both of them. And then notifications. What's popped up in my notifications? So just click right across there. And when you click on it, the light will go out. Answer those notifications. Don't let those build up. So that should take you 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most. The next thing you want to do is you want to like, comment, or share on 3 to 5 posts a day. Now, be aware that you can only share a post, meaning that you're going to take that person's post and send it to your connections only from the main news feed. When you're in a group news feed, like the Career DFW LinkedIn group or something, you only can like it. You don't have an option to share, okay? The second thing you want to do is once or twice a week, you want to go find an article and post it on LinkedIn. Let people know what it is you know about, or what you'd like to comment about, or what you like to talk about. You can write your own blog, or you can go find something. Feedly, F-E-E-D-L-Y, is a great way to go find news articles. I find stuff in the Dallas Business Journal. I find stuff, if I find a great article on a news feed someplace, I'll capture the URL and go and put it in LinkedIn. That makes sense. One of the ways I've heard the best days to post an article is Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Mondays and Fridays, people are too busy, so you want to do it during the week to get the most number of reads. And then the other thing you want to do is follow a company page. If you're applying to company X, follow company X on LinkedIn. When you apply to company Y, follow company Y on LinkedIn, okay? Follow those companies, because what will happen is when they post new jobs, you should be able to get a feed to know the new jobs that they've posted. All right, we're going to talk about Boolean searches, okay? This is a great way and you can use this in everything. This is in LinkedIn, this is in Google, Bing, Yahoo, whatever, Firefox, whatever you're using. Boolean modifiers are just wonderful things. So there's 4 of them that I use all the time. Capital A-N-D, capital O-R, capital N-O-T, and then quotes. Okay, so if I'm looking for a recruiter, so in the inbox here, you'll see that recruiter and technology. So they're looking for a technology recruiter, but not in oil and gas. And oil and gas is in quotes. Okay, so by doing that, they're going to find a recruiter in technology who does technology, but not oil and gas people. All right, so this is a great way to use searches and how to narrow down searches. You just don't want to type in recruiter. You want to say, what kind of recruiter are you looking for? So by adding the capital A and D, and it has to be the and or not have to be all capital letters, otherwise it won't recognize it. The last thing I want to talk about quickly on LinkedIn is the social selling index. So if you were to go into LinkedIn right now and type in www.linkedin.com/sales/SSI, up will come a social selling index. And as long as you're in LinkedIn, you'll see what this is. But what will happen is, the point of this is to find out how active you are. You want to be in the top 5% of your industry. You want to be in the top 5% of your network. You can see here, I'm in the top 1% of my network, or 4% of my network. I currently have a score of 40. It averages usually, for me, I'm usually between 70 and 73. When I check this out on every couple of weeks, I go and look at it. Okay, if you're not at that point, you can see the 4 components. You know, are you building relationships? Are you always reaching out and making new connections? Are you posting things? Are you active on LinkedIn? So if you're in the 20s or 30s or 40s, it just means you're not active on LinkedIn. Okay, so what can you do to become more active? All right, let's see here. Let me close that out. Let's see here. Are there any questions here? Let me go through I didn't really check the chat box. Have others found, Richard says, have others found people who would rather have you follow them versus connect? This makes it difficult to send a LinkedIn invite. Comments. Yes. And the reason people go and click on follow versus connect is either they're very famous, like, you know, Richard Branson or Elon Musk or something. So they're not going to connect with people. If you want to follow them, you can follow them. The other type of people that this happens to is if you accidentally, let me go here, see if I can show this. Let me go to my profile, view profile. One of the things, if I click here, I think on open to, I can change it from being able to connect with me to follow me. And people do that by mistake. They don't realize they've done that. So I've reached out to a few people who I've, you know, who I've tried to follow or tried to reach out to and say, hey, do you know that you've set yourself up to be only followed? They went, oh, I didn't realize I did that. I said, yeah, you need to go on your profile and change that out. So, you know, that is a reason to, you know, just to be careful on that. Let me see if there's anything here I want to point out while I'm here. Analytics. You want to make sure you're getting views. Okay. You want to make sure that, so, you know, I've showed up 160 times. And so the keywords that I'm being found for are director and general manager, people working at these companies. So just some interesting statistics here to sort of see who's, you know, how many times you're being found. And this is over the last week. So that's real important. Go down here to, if you have any licenses or certificates or books that you've written, please put that kind of stuff in here. You're welcome to add volunteering information. If you've done some volunteering, add that into the section. Here's the skills thing, and see, this has popped up, take the skills test. So I can go through and it'll click and it'll show any of the skills that I've picked. I've got 50 skills that I've selected. If there's a skills test available, it will then say, here's where you can go to find that skills test. And then people who recommendations, I really didn't talk about that. You really want to have a couple recommendations from 2021 and 2022. You like to have 2 or 3 recommendations, because if I go and see, like, here's my third one, 2011, I don't go and solicit people to tell me, well, how did you like my presentation? I don't do that. But you don't really want, you know, you want to have stuff current. When I see this, it's like, all right, well, here's a huge gap. What's going on here? So just be very sort of careful about that. If you've written anything, you have any patents, there's sections for that. So then here's some people that I'm following. So these are influencers that I'm following. So that's my full profile. Let's see here. Matt says, I think it automatically defaults to that if you have creator mode turned on. Yes, I think that is correct, but you can still switch that back over so that you're not doing, so you're not in creator mode. Let's see if it's under more. No, that's not it. I forget exactly where that's at, but oh, here it goes right here. Yeah. I think if you turn creator mode on, then your profile, you can follow somebody, but you don't, it's hard to connect. So that's just one of the things that's on here. So just be aware, go through, be sure to check all the privacy and settings, all those different personal things that are on there. Anybody else have any questions? You're welcome to ask away before we finish up here. Any questions? All right, well, let me share a last few slides here at the end and we'll get out of here. Thank you for joining us today. Next week, our speaker, I've talked about this a couple of times, Kurt Vondermatter will be with us. He's a retained search executive at Linked Executive Search. He pays the big bucks for LinkedIn. So if you want to see what the back end of LinkedIn looks like and how he uses it, join us next week at 1 o'clock on Tuesday. All right, I need everybody to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. Very, very, very important. So once again, do not click on the white connect button. You want to connect, you want to click on that blue connect button. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Please join us tomorrow for Interviewing Wednesday. We have an actual practice interview. It's going to happen tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You can watch a candidate be interviewed by 2 or 3 panelists, and you can watch the process. It'll be a good hour and a half. It'll take an hour and a half. It'll be about a 50-minute interview, about 15 or 20 minutes of feedback to the candidate, and then 15 or 20 minutes of questions or comments that you have that you'd like to ask questions about the interview process. So this is a great way to, just by watching somebody else be interviewed is a great way to practice your interviewing skills. It's only going to be on Zoom. It will not be recorded. So if you want to watch it, you do need to get the Zoom link tomorrow. Let's see here on Thursday for Networking Thursday. It's the 4th Thursday of the month, taking the chill out of cold calls with Bob Maher. So if you'd like to join us, that'll be Thursday at 1 o'clock. And then this Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting at 9:30 in the morning, Effective Networking with Jay Fusero. Jay is an excellent speaker. He's got a great book. In fact, here's his book right here. Highly recommend. Yeah, I like doing this because this way it's sort of cute here. Big head underneath his book. But yeah, he's got a great book. There's not one comment in this book that I disagree with from a job search from, over the years that I've learned about job search. He's very analytical. He's going to take you step by step through the process on why you should be doing it and how to be prepared. So join us this Friday at 9:30. It will be a 2-hour presentation. So be with us then. You're welcome to join the Career DFW or Career USA LinkedIn groups. You don't have to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the DFW group. We have over 13,600 members. So the nice thing about that is you now have 13,000 new connections that you can reach out to and hopefully find out information about. And I will tell you this, probably 1 out of 15 or 1 out of 20, well, probably 1 out of 15 people in this group are in HR. They're recruiters. They're joining this group because they want to find you because they're not paying that $10,000 a year to LinkedIn to do searches. This session has been recorded. It will be on the Career DFW Facebook page. Follow us on Facebook. Please subscribe to the Career USA YouTube channel. If you do, every time we post a new video, you'll find out about that. So on the Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist when you first go to it, because if you don't, you'll just see a jumbled mess of all the different videos that have been up there, well over 300 videos. But every video that I post, I put into a playlist. So you can go down to the bottom, resumes, interviewing, LinkedIn, networking, whichever group you like. Don't click on the video, but click when you see that red arrow which says view full playlist, and up will come a list of all the different dates, times, and topics. And you can go back and watch any one of those videos at your convenience. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, you're welcome to do so. Just send an email to Career USA, +subscribe at groups.io. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get is the topic of the day, the title of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. That way you can grab your lunch, open up your computer, click on the Zoom link, and you can join our presentation. Please note, Career FW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 13 years, everything I do on a day-to-day basis is just here to help you land your next great opportunity. Please consider making a donation when you get your next job. So thank you for joining us today. Everybody, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you all hopefully later in the week.
Thanks, Jeff. It was awesome.
Thank you.